So just let me know when you go live and I'll
I
pull the
think I,
link.
I think I just did. Yeah, I think we're live.
Hmm.
We should be live. Just need someone to confirm that we're here and they can hear us and all
No,
that, and we can
I,
begin.
I got it.
Alrighty. So yeah, just go ahead and link the Discord
Yeah.
server, and you can.
What do you usually tag here or everyone or?
Oh, everyone for sure. This is big news. It's the totally not rigged pairings for the final Callous Invitational. Everyone's got to know.
All right.
Alrighty. Oops, that's not the alt tab I wanted. I wanted this one. What did I do wrong already? There we go. Okay. Hey everybody, it's Callous. I am here with Jabba the Griffin and the only British player to not make main event, Zacpz. We are going to check out these pairings live and react to them. Nobody other than my wife and I have ever seen these pairings before, so going to be authentic live reactions. And yeah, I mean, basically once this video is done, you guys are free to play. I'll remind you real quick at the beginning of the video that we are trying to build up the best prize pool we've ever had, so if you feel like donating and you've got the means, please consider doing that. We've got 1,300 bucks right now, trying to get to 26 and beat last year, and if we can hit 3K, that would be really, really good. So PayPal donation link in the Discord server, fast, easy, safe. If you can help, it's super duper appreciated. With that, we're going to get this rolling, but I'm going to ask Jabba real quick beforehand, since you've not seen the pairings, including your own. Who's the player that you most would want to play against and least would want to play against?
If I say most, I probably insult a lot of people.
I mean,
But
it could be a friend, right, as opposed to like someone that you think is bad.
no, I have no friends in this tournament. This is about winning. These are all my enemies. There's probably like 10 people I wouldn't mind playing round one. So I'm just not gonna list them because that'd be fucked up.
Sure.
The person I probably least want to face is the person who knocked me out last year,
Johnny?
Johnny G2. He just he's a scary guy to go up against, and I know he hasn't played as much recently because he's been in space, but I think that he's still just got that natural floor that always makes him scary to go against.
And then, Zach, real quick, give me your, say, 2 or 3 tournament favorites here before we reveal pairings, and then we'll get this going.
I mean, 2 or 3 tournament favourites. You've got to go in on the players that have been in hot form. I mean, ABR always going to be up the top, near the top of the list. He's taken one of these home before. He knows what he's doing. Probably then go throw down someone like Johnny G2. I know he's not been playing as much on the tour front of late, but he's always putting in strong performances. I had him to win a couple of years ago, but he didn't quite make it. I'm not sure there is a clear-cut third. Possibly Roro McMegan, to be honest. He's looked good in SPL and probably looked to carry through the form.
And those are 3 pretty strong, safe choices. Actually, Johnny and McMegan had to play each other round 1 last year, ironically enough. All right, let's get to it. We'll check out each pairing one at a time. I'll go last probably on most of these. Maybe not. Won't be able to help myself. Here's the first pairing. What do we think?
Ooh.
Don't sound so excited, guys.
Ooh, that's a big one. Well, not necessarily a big one in terms of the stature of the players, but there's 2 players. C's got a fairly idiosyncratic building style. Like, you don't know what you're going to get from him because it's going to be tailored to the way that he sees the game and the way he wants to play. But the guy is an absolute prep demon. He's going to go in hard on what Jumpy likes bringing and really tailor his team choices to it. Jumpy's out here with a point to prove. Like, he's been working hard on ladder, sitting at the top all year. He's not quite put it together in tours yet, but this could be a good match because they're both going to want to go out kicking.
And your prediction to win this match is?
I'm going to go C takes game 3 with a Rapidash lead.
Oh, that's very specific. I was just looking for a winner, but man, I'm gonna really think this is rigged if that's actually what happens. He wins in 3 with a Rapidash lead. Pretty
Yo,
specific.
Rapidash is good stuff, man. Uh, I think it's funny you mentioned he hasn't put it together in tournaments yet. That's a little hard for Jumpy considering there's only like 2 tournaments that'll allow him to play. Uh, as CI's resident banned user this year. Obviously, I got bumped down to lower last year by C. Uh, Lost to a Roserade. Uh, it just got clapped. My triple rock team couldn't win,
Wow.
unfortunately.
So
Even though
C was cheating using a Pokemon that doesn't even exist yet.
did I say Roserade instead of
It's
Roselia? Sorry, man.
crazy.
I
No,
got boomer brain. Can you cut it out?
no wonder he won. What a fucking
This is like
cheater.
another Specs Vaporeon moment. It happens. You just got to roll with it and go, okay, grandma or grandma. You never know. Okay, grandpa, just keep going. I haven't played C much. I haven't seen a lot of his games either. I've been watching him play some NU, and obviously he's one of the lower tier ADV goats. And I played, on the other hand, Jumpy a lot recently in PPL and Mushy.
Mushi,
What-
there we go. You got it the third time.
Mushi, I got it. It's like your favorite Pokemon, Miltank. It's Mushi.
That's right.
And I think Jumpy's been playing really good Mons. He almost got to 1800 on the ladder, just a little bit short multiple times. I'm gonna take Jumpy in this one.
Oh boy, we already have disagreement. Good to see. Yeah, you guys pretty much covered it. I won't add too much. I mean, I hope everybody who's playing this tournament is some level of motivated. I think these 2 guys are particularly motivated and both kind of, for their own reasons, have something to prove. C really thought that he had a chance to make a money-making run last year, and he was in a good position to do so, and he choked. He knows he choked against Jirachi. He blatantly fucked up Game 3, should have won that set, or against Mana, rather. Got eliminated, and he's not happy about it, nor should he be. And he wants to prove that he can do it and that it wasn't a fluke and kind of right the wrong of last year. And then Jumpy's the other way. We all know last year, got smashed by Bush Tush of all people in play-ins, and then he was not an initial main event invite, so he definitely had a little chip on his shoulder too, but he's been grinding. He feels like he has something to prove. I think they both kind of feel like they have something to prove, and I think they're both going to take this match very seriously and put excessive amounts of time into prepping for this. I will pick C to win. Alrighty, next pairing.
Oh, that's a round 1 pairing. You got to feel bad for these players. Obviously, Roro is a consummate favorite that never really brings across the finish line, and Jester is the young upstart who had a great run last year. I don't think people expected him to do as well as he did, but he looked great and played really well. I don't think there's much to say, more to say about it. Who am I going to take in a round 1? I keep looking at it. I feel bad because one of these guys is getting knocked down round 1. I'll go Jester to win this, actually, which I think that will be the underdog pick.
Yeah, I'm kind of echoing Jabba here, but Megan obviously is bringing in hot form off of SPL. Jester is out there with one hell of a point to prove. I think this is going to be a tight one. I mean, I've already backed Roro to go top 3, so I'm going with Megan to win it, but I think it should be a tighter set than some people would think based off of just the names there.
I'm going to go 2 for 2 agreeing with Zach and against Jabba, which did not work out in my favor when we predicted play-ins this year, but I think McMegan has simply been playing more ADV lately, and that's not to say that Jester has quit the tier or, got rusty, forgot what to do. That's too far. That's an exaggeration, but McMegan's been playing a ton. Jester's been playing some. And I think when players are both really good and either one could beat either one on any given day, I think it just kind of comes down to who's in form. So going with that philosophy, I'm just going to say that McMegan wins, but as you both said, I would be 0% surprised by either outcome. Last year it was Jester against Star round 1, and nobody thought the Jester was going to win, and I think he took him 2-0 and then went deep in the tournament. So I've learned not to underestimate Jester, but I am nevertheless going to pick McMegan here, but I wouldn't be surprised by either outcome. On to the next pairing. What about this? Either of you with me?
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a fun one. Like Crystal, obviously one of the best, if not the best DPPer out there right now, not named Pidius. Been putting up good results in ADV for a little while, and Kurtz is the perennial ladder hero. It's not unusual to log onto ladder and see 6 Kurtz accounts in the top 10. Crystal still a little bit bitter. She beat me in Fight Night a couple of years ago, so I'm going with the good guy Kurtz here.
I don't know anything about Crystal's ADV, and probably won't until I'm forced, if we play and I'm forced to do a scout. Kurtz, I think, Kurtz was, I think 2 years ago, me and him played that set in the finals of play-ins that came down to a coin flip. He's really good. He plays squads that, everybody kind of expects them from him, but he pilots them so well. And sometimes he'll bring out like a Rhydon, which is always fun for the spectators. We enjoy that kind of stuff. I just think he's kind of just an expert at piloting what he pilots, and I like him into a lot of this tournament. I think he's someone I'd put in the top half. So I'm gonna take him to win this one, but I'm ready to be surprised.
Yeah, I'm going to pick against my colleagues here. I'm going to take Crystal to win. You guys won't be surprised. I usually don't pick Kurtz. He's one of the best ladder players in this tournament. He's 2-5. I'm going to keep picking against him until he starts winning more consistently in this tour. I also think that Crystal is going to know what to expect from Kurtz, and the same very well may not be true in reverse. So there very well may be an information or a scouting advantage for Crystal. I don't know that she definitely hasn't played as much ADV as Kurtz has, but I think that she's played just as much Pokemon, and I think that she's just as good of an overall pilot, even if she doesn't necessarily know every single nuance of ADV. I think she'll be able to keep up. I don't think Kurtz is going to blatantly outplay Crystal. I'm gonna pick Crystal to win. All right, let's not have a 10-second moment of silence before the next pairing, guys.
Don't tell us what to do. We need to take it in. Just absorb it.
Okay,
Actually, this next pairing, I think, if I'm remembering the order, this next pairing, it should be Zach speaking first for sure. I think is the appropriate reaction
That
here.
means me.
No, it means there's a Brit.
Oh, okay. The governors.
Well, I mean, we have 4 Brits in this tour, not including Zach. Did I mention that?
But you didn't give him a chance. It's kind of fucked up to throw it in his face.
Absolutely robbed. I mean, easiest Callum dub of the entirety of his playthrough.
I thought Sprinkled was the easiest Callum dub.
Oh!
Yeah, potentially. Potentially. No, I mean, Tricking, obviously well-established player, got a good track record. Callum is yet another wonderful product of ADV League. I'm backing my guy here. It's that simple. Callum to win in 2.
2-0 Callum, he says.
Yeah, I really like Callum. I think that matchup against was it Sadly he lost to the first time around?
Yep.
Didn't look amazing, and the team choices weren't great. And then the last 2 sets, he surprised me. I think he said in chat he borrowed one for Dazi team, but built the other ones. They looked solid. He played well. And he looked a lot better than he did in that set against Sadly. Yeah, I think he looked really good. But on the other hand, tricking is tricking. I think tricking is really, really good. Might have made a good run last year if, his Zapdos didn't get frozen for 18 turns by yours truly. So, I'm going to go tricking. I just think this is going to be closer. I think a closer set just because Callum's been hot, ever since he got knocked out, maybe a little chip on the shoulder. So it might be closer than people expect, but I think tricking will take it.
I'm going to also pick tricking. I don't think that's a surprising or a bold pick. I think that'll probably be the consensus, but I think this is a matchup that Callum can win. I think there's certain pairings where I'd look at it, Callum against, I'm not going to name names, but there's certain people where I'd be like, oh man, Callum is going to get smoked here. I can't think of a single advantage that Callum has over this guy. I don't know that that's the case against tricking. Tricking, I think, is not a counter teamer in ADV, which immediately is a good thing for Callum because he kind of sticks to the same kind of teams over and over, and there would definitely be certain opponents who would specifically build to exploit that, but I don't think the tricking is one of them. And then as far as piloting, I mean, yeah, Callum has made a couple of not perfect plays, as we all have, but I recall narrating a couple tricking games the past couple years of CI where some of the late game plays are like, oh boy, I don't know about that. So I don't know if tricking, if tricking's a better pilot than Callum, it's certainly not by miles and miles to where he's going to jump down Callum's throat on every little mistake. I think Callum doesn't need a miracle to win this match. Being the post play-ins guy in theory, he's going to be an underdog in most matchups in this tournament, but this is one that I think he can win without needing ridiculous luck. I still favor tricking, but it wouldn't take a miracle to go the other way. Okay, next pairing is one of the best ones of the first round, in my opinion. I don't know. I know one of them won't be happy, but it's very possible that neither of them will be happy about this matchup. But we've got one of the best ones, which is
This is a this is a tough one. I think Fru Dazi, Fru Dazi, if we're going with the Mushi pronunciation, is going to be a really tough matchup for anyone. That's one of the people I definitely want to get matched up with round one. I think this is, he's come onto the scene so well the past year. It's unfortunate he didn't get in last year. I think maybe if you were more involved in Mushi at the time, you might have given him a play-in spot because, you look at this year's play-ins and it's kind of Mushi League 2.0. So I think he might have made that cut, but, obviously this year he's a clear main eventer, and I think he's near the top. I think he looked good in his SPL matches, and obviously, playing against him in Mushi, he's very good. I think that's the only way to put it. M Dragon is M Dragon. He invented Advance along with Make. So, he's got. I don't know what he's looking like lately. I haven't really watched any of his recent games. I don't know if he has recent games. He's one of those staples that he comes in and out, and it's hard to tell what his current. Maybe you guys can speak on it more, what his current level is, but I'm gonna take Daz.
Zach, you with us? Uh-oh.
Hell yeah, I pressed the mute button. Brilliant streamer moment. Yeah, I don't think what Jabba said is particularly controversial. I know M Dragon's not been playing that much recently, but he is always money for turning up and playing a good game no matter what kind of form he's in. Whereas Fru Dazi is kind of leading the charge as the up-and-comers. You can see his impact on the meta. Leech 3 attacks Selly with Aero is absolutely everywhere at the moment. And despite the fact he is a chaotic Brazilian child, he has got talent. So I'm going with Fru Dazi in this one.
Man, I keep picking against the grain. I'm going to take M-Dragon. And this is a heat matchup. It's one of the feature matches. So, M-Dragon, for those of you out of the loop, this is not like super new news. It was months ago at this point, but he broke all the ladder records. Highest ladder peak ever, and well past 1800. He posted a whole team dump of all the stuff that he used to get there. And here's kind of the interesting thing with this matchup. So basically all the teams, and there were like 5 or 6 of them in the dump, they were pretty much all the same. Every single one of them was just like Scar and Bliss, Swampert, Aerodactyl, the same exact thing. Just TSS with Mono Pert every time. And Fru Dazi's basically the same thing. He's just Scarm, Arrow, that's Celebi every time. These are two stubborn players who clearly have their style, and they have very different styles. And I don't think either one is going to adapt much or try to counter team the other guy. So I'm expecting an offensive Fru Dazi and a defensive M-Dragon. And not only a clash of styles, but a clash of eras. I mean, Fru Dazi is literally young enough to be M-Dragon's child. So this is truly... If you're 20 right now, you think Fru Dazi's going to win. If you're in your 30s like me right now, you probably lean towards M-Dragon. It's just biased towards the era that you grew up in. In a tough pairing, this could easily be like a top 4 or like a round 5 match or some bullshit. Not an easy round 1 pairing at all, but gonna pick Dragon. Alrighty, next pairing. You guys are killing me with the dead silence after the fucking pairings.
We gotta figure out an ordering of who should go first every time. Should we alternate or should we just keep going?
Man, someone just talk. Just see the pairing and react. It's the whole point of the video.
Your shout.
What?
Go.
No, you. Okay. Sadly, finally made it through the play-ins gauntlet. Took. I think since the dawn of time, but he's finally here. We're here. He did it. Everybody, the fans are ecstatic. We finally get main event. Sadly, Arctic was a play-ins player last year who almost made it out, and then was gifted the drop and took advantage of it and had a pretty good run, and then had a pretty good SPL. And I got to take Arctic in this one. I think his builds are unique for sure, and I think they're probably harder to take advantage of than people think they are. I've played enough games against them. I think you think you can just do the same thing you do to beat some stall builds, but his are just he's a lot of rest, a lot of aromatherapy on those, and then obviously as he pointed out, he does come with pretty crazy offenses every once in a while. So I think he's hard to prep for, and I think his teams are good, and so I'm gonna take him.
Yeah, I mean both of these players are players that absolutely love to prep. They love to build, and they're going to want to bring things that really showcase their ideas of the meta. Sadly, is here trying to prove, first time in main, if I'm right, he's trying to prove that he can hang with the big guys, and getting off to a good win to start would be great for him. So this is a kind of a tough matchup. Arctic, yeah, he's shown that he can bring unconventional stuff that has ways to win out games and vary his play style. He's known as a fat lover, but as he kindly pointed out yesterday, he brought more offense than Scarm or more offense than Fat last rendition. So I'm going to take Arctic on this one, but it's going to be a good show either way.
All right, it's our first time where we all agree. I will pick Arctic as well. I think my wife wants me to pick Sadly. She likes Sadly quite a bit because he helps out with the bot. He's also sexy South American guy. He's actually Pedro Pascal in real life, so certainly more appealing than some middle school kid. But if I'm trying to pick rationally and get my predictions right, I'm not as sold as Arctic as Jabba is. Jabba thinks Arctic is like a god among men and is going to like win the tournament or something. I didn't follow SPL closely enough. I think I watched a total of 5 or 6 total games from this past SPL, and those are still just ones that people linked me and said, "Look at this ridiculous thing," like the stupid.
Yeah, there were a few of those.
Yeah, like the stupid team that H-Clad brought against like McMegan or whatever. I saw that one, but yeah, I didn't really follow. Maybe in SPL Arctic looked super duper good. I don't know. Didn't watch, but yeah, I mean,
3.
Arctic's been solid. Sadly, I know didn't have a good SPL and has struggled to get here initially. Logically, I'll go with Arctic, but as with any pairing, you never know until you play the game. Alright, next pairing. This one is awkward because my years are blurring together, but I think at some point they were SPL teammates. Maybe not this past year, but the one before, so they definitely know each other.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that much about Gary Oak as a player. I was surprised to see him main event, but I will defer to your guys' wisdom on this one. He's clearly an SPL player. He's clearly decent, but Johnny G2, despite his time in space, he's always going to be solid. I've put him top 3, so I'm staying with that one. I'm going Johnny here.
Am I making up that these guys were on Classiest together at some point?
I have no idea.
I swear they were on Classiest together maybe 2 years ago, but I'm not positive. But anyway, this pairing reminds me a lot of Johnny's round 1 pairing last year against Conflict, where he's against an objectively good player who is not a proper ADV main, but is very, very clearly just a solid Pokemon player all around across multiple tiers. You can't not pick Johnny, but just like last year against Conflict, I think that there is a lot of upset potential here. I think that Gary can super duper play. I think he's super duper motivated, and I think if Johnny is even a little bit crusty or out of form, that Gary can absolutely take advantage of it. He's not going to even a little bit be a pushover for Johnny. He's not going to be intimidated by Johnny, and like I said, there's that added dynamic of perhaps he knows how Johnny builds or likes to play or how he preps or whatever, and I think that's going to work against Johnny as well. So I'll still take Johnny to win. Almost certainly he's like a top 5 or 6 guy in this tour, but I would not underestimate Gary at all. Very good pilot. Upset potential here, big time.
Yeah, as far as I know, Gary is one of the jack of alls that we have in this tournament. Where I play in all these kind of side tournaments like PUPL and NUPL and stuff like that, and he's always in there playing some random tier, and obviously he's always one of the best pilots in the tournament. I'm not sure where his advance is, but if it's anything like every other tier he plays, then it's probably pretty good. We'll see what the team bringing decision is like, and sometimes these super pilots kind of just default to, you look at the finals last year and you get stuff like Soulwind just grabbing teams from everyone's CI dump, which I would recommend that everyone wait until the tournament's over this year to do that, just as an aside. And JG2, an absolutely great run last year. Forget where he ended up. Was it 3rd?
Johnny, no, he got 4th, unfortunately, right out of the money.
Right there. What did he lose to Soulwind or Umbry?
Soulwind.
Okay. Yeah, and I, as I mentioned at the start when I said he was, one of the people I'd want to face least. I don't know how much he's playing these days, but his floor is so high that I got to give him the nod on this one.
Alrighty, to the next pairing. Battle of first timers here on this next one.
Well, I just talked, so I'll keep it rolling. Singlet, Bihi. Bihi is a jack of all who's almost like borderline, master of all as well. Everything he touches, he wins at. You know, I believe it was him that they had to tap to play RBY, and he in SPL, and he was beating some of the biggest names out there, and he looked like he knew what he was doing, which is rare when you grab someone to scramble to play RBY. It's a very nuanced tier, more than people think, and if you don't know what you're doing, it's very hard to win against those better names. You can't just you can't just click the right button and hope for a freeze. That's not how it works. It's a lot more nuanced than that. Yeah, Coltier said, he beat Troller, which is insane, and then he got tapped for ADV this year in SPL, and he looked great doing it. And Singlet, I know you're really high on him. No offense to Singlet, I'm not as much. I think he's obviously a good player, but I think Bihi's got this one.
Yeah, this is where I'd normally lean in and say something along, Singlet's a tier main, Bihi isn't. I would probably lean Singlet normally, but, Singlet's been around, he's been playing, he's been very good. But Bihi walked into SPL, like you said, and he put up a 5-2 record against good players. Beat H-Clad, beat Triangles, beat Arctic. I think I would edge Bihi on this one as well.
I wonder if that's how it's pronounced. You guys are both calling him Bihi. I've always read it as Bihi, but
it's a little too much, a little too close to Teehee.
I have no idea.
I don't know either. I wish we could either get him in the stream or here in the chat. He's another Frenchman with a sexy French accent, so I'd love to hear it from him. I've always thought it was Bihi, but could be Bihi. Don't know. Either way, tough pairing for two first timers here. I am high on Singlet. I don't know if I'm higher than Bihi, but yeah, these guys can both play. I mean, I think the fact that Bihi is on paper, air quotes, not an ADV main, like, sure, but he clearly has been playing it somewhat recently and very effectively at that. We all know what he did in SPL. It's hard. I can't see. This is a mental trap that I shouldn't fall into, but like it feels like Bihi is the better overall player and the more like rounded player because I know how good he is at other things, DPP, Sword and Shield, whatever. That shouldn't matter in theory, right? Because it's only ADV. But like I have this trap in my mind of like, well, Bihi's good at all these tiers. Singlet's only good at ADV. I don't know. It's tough. I don't think this is a stomp. I think I wouldn't be surprised if it went the other way, and I think the predictions are going to have very polarizing opinions on this one, but I'm going to go with Bihi, and I don't feel tremendously confident about that. And I'm very high on Bihi. I think he's like top 10 in the field. I just have a lot of respect for Singlet. Alrighty. Zach's going to go first again. More Brits.
Woo!
Backing your boy?
Oh man, I'd love to back my boy, but this is a rough matchup for him. ABR is sitting out there with a tiny little builder by his own admission.
Everything with ABR is pretty tiny, as we know.
Hey.
Yeah. Tiny man, tiny builder, and he's just grinding out high-level plays, high-level teams, innovative stuff with the ghosts that he's putting in. Sableye and Mistrevous. You'd have looked at those 12 months, 18 months ago and gone unviable. And
I'm still going unviable with Sableye.
I mean, ban-worthy maybe? Who knows?
I voted yes.
I voted shut up giraffe, but yeah, we'll see where that one goes. Watermess, talented player, another player that absolutely loves to build, and I've been in teams with him. The guy is a prep demon. You can expect him to bring things that are good into ABR style teams. Whether or not ABR will switch it up to put that off, whether or not Watermess will actually pull off the great counter teams, I'm not sure, but I'm backing my boy again. It's a rough matchup, but I'm going with Watermess in 3.
I mean, we know that he can. I mean, we saw ABR mix it up last year with his Jolteon spikeless teams against Dice. We saw how that went, right?
Yep. I mean, if there's a player to bring random shit into, it's Dice who's going to bring random shit into you as well.
You didn't get it. ABR got smacked 2-0 in that matchup.
Exactly.
But anyway, mine's the quickest of all. I'm going to pick ABR to win. I mean, nothing against Mess whatsoever, other than him being a bit of a rager sometimes. But there's not many people or anyone in the tour that I'm going to pick against ABR. So, gonna pick ABR. Would be an awesome upset and a massive confidence boost for Watermess to get this win out the gate. He's going to feel super strong, super confident going forward, and this is the exact kind of guy that he wants to beat in round one to just have the momentum immediately and make a deep run. It's Pokemon. He's good. Anything can happen. Gonna pick ABR.
Yeah, I think ABR. Most people would not pick anyone to win against him in this field. Mess is the king of the farts, and I hope he wins. I would like if he won. That would be nice. But I mean, you're going against ABR round one. That's just it's the roughest pull you can pull. So yeah, if I'm picking with my heart, I'm going Watermess. If I'm picking with my barely existent brain, I'm going ABR.
I was gonna say the heart's bigger, right? So we're gonna go with Watermess.
Yeah, right.
All right, the next pairing. Oh, this one could be wet and wild. I actually really like this one. I don't know if the crowd will or not. I'm not watching the chat, but I like the next one quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sound so excited.
It's your go, Jabba.
Is it? I don't know how this works. Blues. I don't know what to say. I had some pre-tournament discussions. CALLOUS, I know you're really high on him. I don't know. We'll see what he brings, and we'll see if it's something that isn't lead Salak CM Suicune. Mana, has a funny. I always, always pops in my head how curious the Mana's introduction to CI was when we had a drop back then, but CI was kind of running at the same time as Advanced Cup or a little bit after it, and I think he might have lost the finals. He made it to the finals at least against Tomahome. And so you just grabbed him, threw him right in the main event, said go for it, and he had a great run. And since then, he's always been one of the mid-tour staples, I feel like, and he always looks pretty good. Doesn't really hasn't really made it as far as that first attempt. But last year, he brought some absolute crazy stuff. There was the Arcanine Roselia team. Not Roserade, which does not exist in this generation, but Roselia. Which I believe he won with. Maybe that was against Fear.
He did. He won that game.
Yeah, he looked. Didn't he double Roselia or something? Yeah, he had a crazy
I don't remember, but I know the Arcanine squad got the W.
Yeah, and so he brings crazy stuff and he wins with it. And as a spectator, I really enjoy watching his matches, and I think he's really, really good. On top of bringing the crazy stuff, would he go farther if he just brought bog standard? Maybe.
I don't know.
But,
I don't know in his case. I think he gets an edge in the builder. I really do.
He might. But I'll take him to win this one.
Well, I mean, yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there with the style. I don't think Mana's necessarily a tier main, but he can switch it up like one. He can bring those crazy teams that match up well into people that aren't tier mains or maybe haven't prepped for it. Blues, he made his name as the most condescending guy on ladder whilst only using big 5-star me. He's come a long way since then. You've got that crazy League Salax Suicune team, which if he goes deep, I think we'll see approximately 28 times. He's top ladder with Transform Smeargle. I'm going to go Blues here, but realistically, if both of them bring good teams, we could be in for an absolute classic for the spectators.
My picks are boring. I always pick the obvious people unless I have strong feelings. But, yeah, I mean, Mana is my pick. Blues, I obviously rate higher than my friend Jabba does, who questions whether or not he should be in main. maybe Blues last year was more suited for main than Blues right now. He took a number of months off, and I don't know that he's the side tour reaper that he was at one point, but it was not that far. It was not that long ago in which Blues was dominating every side tour and crushing ladder as well, and clearly looked like one of the better players in the game. I think he'll put up a fight, make it interesting, but I rate Mana really highly. I have Mana as like top 5 in the field, which I think is higher than most people would put him. His performances in this tour have been very consistent, and I think he's one of the best builders in the field. I'm really, really high on Mana. There's very few people that I would pick over him, truly. So it's as simple as that. I think Blues is just fine, but gonna pick Mana. But Blues is the better narrator.
Hell yeah.
All right. Zach, you're up again. More British people.
Woo! Okay, so if this was a drinking competition, I'd be backing triangles every single day of the week. Obviously, he had that CI3 run, which I don't know will ever be topped. He lost absolutely nothing and didn't even prep until the semi-finals. Whether triangles is still that player, I don't know, but he had a decent SPL and has always proved that he can eke out advantages in the builder. Rob Jr., I'm not quite as high on. He's had some really good runs in tours. He's had some pretty mediocre runs in tours. I've just got to go triangles here. Shout out to my mom's dad. I reckon he's going top 8 at least, maybe top 4 this tour.
Triangles is triangles. And he has been cooking lately. He's been getting to it. Sometimes you see the people who are out of it just kind of limp in, and they dread the day that pairings are revealed, because they had that month of play-ins and didn't touch. They didn't touch the builder, and they go, oh crap. But triangles have been at it. Rob is he, like I said, he's similar to Gary. He's a jack of all trades, can play literally any tier that's ever been invented by the mind of men. If this was a Gen 7 ZU match, Rob would cook triangles, but unfortunately it's ADV OU, so I'm gonna have to go with triangles.
Yeah, unanimous agreement. I'll take triangles here. I think it's one of those pairings of one of the legitimate top 5 or so guys in the tour, one of the legitimate championship favorites, versus one of the lower guys. Someone who deserves to be here in Rob, but not someone that I view as the same. Triangles is someone who has already proven that he's capable of winning this tournament from the winner's bracket. Can I envision Rob winning this tournament from the winner's bracket? Not really. I mean, again, it's Pokemon. You never know, and what a story that would be. But that's harder for me to envision, whereas Triangle's making a deep run in this, making money again, hell, even winning again. Not the craziest thing in the world in my mind. So, based on just how I perceive the players, I'm going to go with Dante. Ooh, this one. Okay. Let's get Jabba the Griffin up first for this next pairing.
All right. Well, on one end, we have arguably the sexiest, best-looking player in the world.
Wow, Odin will
young.
Appreciate that.
Really young, too, and hip and up with the modern trends. We got Jabba the Griffin, who made probably one of the most unexpected runs in CI history last year.
I can say that again.
Yeah, the expected first 0-3 of all time, somehow top 6'd it. Cyber Odin, if I recall correctly, he was one of the cut guys that snuck in. He's looked really good in a lot of side tours. I teamed with him in ADVPL, and he was playing really well. And I know maybe CALLOUS can correct me on this. He's been kind of Was he main and then he was 0-2 ruled, or
He played main directly twice. He had very tough pairings in that. He had to play against people like Asta and M-Dragon and such, but he did manage to go 0-4 in those performances. And then I think that was CI, I want to say 3 and 4. And then he got booted down to play-ins and hasn't made it out since. And this year, with an unexpected number of declines, he has gotten the promotion.
yeah, yeah. I mean, so like
Oh,
I said, I don't watch
Jesus.
what.
Guys, we have a midstream anonymous $200 donation coming in, by the way.
Hell yeah.
So
That's because this stream's so good.
I think so. Also, there's a freebie for people watching this on the prediction survey. Will an individual donate 200 or more? Yep, they sure will. Like I said, this person wants to be anonymous, so gonna obviously respect that, but you know who you are, and this is a very big donation. Huge, huge help. Thank you for your generosity. It really, really makes a difference. I appreciate it. Back to the matter at hand.
Yeah, I'll just wrap it up by saying I'm gonna win easily.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, Odin. I mean, I know he probably got booted down to play-ins pre-declines for being 0-2 for a couple of years, but he has had rough runs, and he did win Ribbon this year. I know Ribbon doesn't always attract the biggest players, but he had to get through a hell of a lot of good competition to get there, so he's arguably in the better form that he's been in for a long time, and he's been switching up his team choices. Jabba, I mean, he sat in stream with me. I don't want to slag him off too hard, but we were meant to play recently and he'd forgotten about a gentleman's rule that we'd made. So is he going to be sober enough to remember to play his games? Who knows? I'm taking Cyber Open wins on activity on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to take Odin too. He's against the weakest player in the tournament. Here is the next pairing. This is another one of the best ones in round one, I would say. This is one of the. This is another M-Dragon Fru Dazi, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Star has accomplished basically everything there is to accomplish in Pokemon. He's proven he's good at ADV, but I'll be honest, I don't know what his activity's like at the moment. Fakes deleted his Smogon account to try and stop playing. I think he's somehow got that back since then, and you know he's going to try hard every single tour he's in. I'm probably going to take Fakes on this one, just on sheer sweat and try hard ability alone.
I think, in my opinion, Fakes is one of the best just raw players in the game at any tier he plays. I think he's just scary. The way he kind of, I don't know. I don't play. There's not a lot of players where I'm playing them and I'm like, holy shit, is this guy like in my house right now, like over my shoulder, watching me click these buttons? And so that. Fakes is definitely one of those players. I hate to play because I feel like he always knows when I'm going to click. Star is obviously, one of the best ADV players. He tends to get these rough round one pairings. I feel like he never, gets bottom half people. So I think so far of all the matches that we've seen, I think this is the best one, and I'm really excited to watch this one. I'm going to go with Fakes. Just because I think he's going to make a run this year.
Man, how the mighty have fallen. I mean, like I said in the player intro video, do you guys know that Star finished in the top 12, I think it was? I forget the exact thing that we said, but top 12 4 years in a row. That is very, very hard to do. Captain fucking consistency. SPL too. He had multiple SPLs. He had the dominant SPL where he played Sun Moon the whole time. Then he had the dominant ADV SPL. I mean, we're talking a couple years back, but man, Star in his prime, if you want to call it that, which is not that long ago, unbeatable. Might have been the best player on the planet at that time. Very, very consistent. I'm not sure if last year was a fluke or it's just he's an older, busier guy. I think Star is like in that phase of life now where I think he's in graduate school. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's a busy man. gonna make those big dollars one of these days, and is obviously working hard with his education. Fakes, on the other hand, has no hope of ever making big dollars, and the money that he does make, he spends at the bar. But I think he's been playing Pokemon perhaps more than Star has, or at least ADV more than Star has recently. I don't know, man. I can't just write off Star. I know that he went 0-2 last year against people that on paper he was supposed to beat, but I agree. I think this is the best pairing of round one. I really do. This is brutal. This could be the finals. It really could. Fuck it, man. I'm gonna pick Star. I can't get away from it. I have a crush on him. He's so good for so many years. Fakes is one of the best Pokemon players ever. I don't feel strongly. I could flip a coin, but I'm gonna be the contrarian here, and I'm gonna pick Star. All right, 3 more pairings, and you guys may notice that both finalists from last year are yet to be paired.
Uh-oh.
Hell.
But they're not going to play again, because here's one of them.
Oh, okay. That would have fed right into the Callous Riggs pairings narrative.
No, it's not. We do not have an out-the-gate finals rematch.
Who's up?
Anybody.
Okay. So, yeah, Jirachi has been around ADV for longer than I've been alive, which might not make sense because I think I'm older than him, but he's been playing for a very long time.
You're also
And
older than the tier, but do continue.
Yeah, only marginally. Yeah, Jirachi is a solid player, but I mean, I think he leans more towards DPP these days. He's just hosted the DPP equivalent of this tour, but you know, you can never ever sell him short on ADV. H-Clad obviously won a couple of years ago and has since.
He did?
Oh no, he won last year.
Man, here I am thinking he won last year. He's even better than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, absolute baller. Guy manages to get Mr. Mime banned after people fail for years, but this SPL for him was not kind. I think he went maybe 2-7.
That's
off
correct.
The top of my head. Yeah, so it's an odd one. You don't think either of them are in their best form at the moment, but I think H-Clad just has the ability to cheese out a win if he really, really has to, and has just probably been playing more ADV. So I'm going with H-Clad on this one.
Yeah, Jirachi, I believe, was my buddy in the 5 to 6 range last year. He had another unexpected run. I don't think people were going to, or I don't think people had him going as far as he did. He looked pretty good doing it, and H-Clad won the whole thing. And you know, H-Clad, it's always funny. I think he had a rough SPL too, but that seems to be the H-Clad MO. You know, great CI and a rough SPL. You know, maybe it's a best of 3, best of 1 thing. Who knows? I'm not going to get inside the mind of an H-Clad. I think he's going to start off with another, you know, good start this year. So you know, I'll take H-Clad, the reigning champion, to beat my fellow boomer.
Jirachi's top 6 run last year speaks for itself, but how do you not pick the defending champ? It's as simple as that. The dude won the tournament last year. I know the SPL was bad, so was Jirachi's, by the way. Actually, Jirachi's, I think, was somehow worse than H-Clad's. One of the only people, in fact. But Jirachi's good. His top 6 speaks for itself. He's not going to be intimidated by H-Clad. He's gonna prep. He's not going to let H-Clad's gimmicks get in his head. I mean, he's just going to play his game, come in with good teams, and give him a fight. But how do you not pick the defending champ? Simple as that. Gonna go with H-Clad. Alright, for those of you keeping track at home, there's only 4 players left. That means obviously by revealing one pairing, we're going to be revealing the other as well. We're just going to tackle them one at a time. Here is the second to last pairing in a game that I will definitely not be narrating. I'm going to pass this one to Zokaru, I think. Because it's gonna fucking take all the turns. Who likes 4 mirror matches? Who likes 400 turns?
I do. Yeah.
Good, you
I've
can
narrated that before.
you can narrate it.
I refuse. I'll go real quick because I don't have a lot to say. PK Leech had a pretty good run last year out of play-ins. Looked pretty good doing it. But yeah, he has a noted style, and if I recall correctly, most people do, but I think he broke from it a few times. But there were still some sets where he brought his style, and so if Soulwind plays in that, Soulwind I think has a reputation of in ADV of being on the stallier side, but I'd say it's more that he plays all these different OUs, and he tends to play what is currently considered the best kind of builds. So you could see him loading up, kind of those Fru Dazi teams with the Selby. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. So I
I
don't think
would.
I wouldn't, because there was that one year where that Zap Loom Zoomer shit was in, and that's what he was loading up, right? Um, so, but obviously, he almost brought it home. I think was he the winners, and then H-Clad had to win twice, or was it the other way around? I forget. And he won,
Yeah,
and he won
yes.
the first set, right? He
Solon
was
won
in
the
loser.
Yeah, Solon won the first set of grand finals. That's correct.
Yeah, and then everybody remembers the notorious Salmon's dragon dances. Those were great. That was a great way to end CI. But I think you got to give it to the last year's runner-up. So I'll take Soulwind here.
Yeah, this does have dragging on potential. Leech has piloted a lot of unconventional still. I think he's the most likely player in the pool to bring Altaria. Let's put it that way. Nothing coming from Mushy League. Put in a big stint last year to get deeper than I think people were giving him credit for. Soulwind obviously made finals and does keep in touch with meta trends. Whereas I feel like Leech kind of sees the meta and then goes for his kind of own off-kilter way of countering it. I think I'm going to take Leech here. I'm going to go contrarian, back my guy, and just hope it plays out.
I've always kind of seen Soulwind as just a fat player in every tier. I feel like the DPP that I watch him play, it's all fat stuff. I feel like the black-white, it's all the bulky fat sand stuff. I don't really see him as just playing the quote-quote best team. I see him as always playing stall and always playing fat. Unlike Jabba, I would be surprised if Soulwind came with the Arrow Selby kind of stuff. I mean, I guess on the other hand, he doesn't really build in this tier, so if that's the hot team and there's a paste of it somewhere, maybe he just copy pastes it and doesn't really think about it beyond that. But I've always viewed him as specifically leaning towards stall. I think this has potential to be one of those hour plus in real time, watch paint dry kind of sets. I used to. This is how I know it's time for me to retire. This time, 3, 4, 5 years ago, the thought of this would make me so excited. It's a chess match. It's methodical. Oh, I can't wait to watch this. Right now, the thought of watching this, I think I'd rather hang myself. So, someone other than me is going to narrate this, and I'm going to predict Soulwind as the winner. Better Pokemon player. That's my thought. And that leaves us with the final pairing, which is, of course, Bad Dummy and Dice.
Yeah, as has been worked out.
I mean, this should be a good one, to be honest. Bad Dummy's made it through play-ins, but he's made it through play-ins by absolutely closing down end games and playing his outs. He's had a couple of sketchy early games, maybe a couple of sketchy mid games, thankfully not at the same time. But the way he's managed to play out from losing positions and come through has been outstanding. Dice is one of those players. I see him as maybe a more fat leading player most of the time. Someone that might bring, Scum Forry teams from the net battle era, but can be quite a hard player to prep for. I don't think Rick's necessarily a prep master. He definitely does go in hard on it, but he'll go in looking at what Dice is going to bring and work out a way to give himself a good endgame. Think it's going to be tight, but I mean, Bad Dummy's got that Brit swagger, so I am backing my boy Rick there.
So you went 4 for 4 with the Brits, right?
Yeah, of course I did.
Of course you did.
Bad Dummy made it out of play-ins like we all expected. I think he should have been main, but obviously he is now. So no harm, no foul. He's been playing really good Pokemon lately. But Dice over the past 5+ years. At any point in time, you could say he's playing really good Pokemon right now. He's got a high floor. Like a few other people I've talked about. I think he's really good. He's really good at finding his lines and executing. I think he's one of the best at that, and you kind of see it. I've been on SPL teams with him, and the way he back seats. He no matter what game state is, no matter what tier it is, he just kind of identifies the line and knows, and he does it when he's playing. Some people can backseat and they seem like a Pokemon god, and then they get out there and they're just clicking. Not me. So I'm going to take Dice here. I do think it'll be a good set. Looking forward to this one, but I'll take Dice.
I'll take Dice too. I mean, I put Dice straight to main. I put Bad Dummy in play-ins. That should tell you which player I rate more highly at this time. Rick, I've heard the argument not just from Jabba, but from others as well. Should have been just in main immediately. So if he really is that good right now, maybe this will be a good set. But I view Dice as a stronger player, and I view Dice as more versatile in the builder. He's wet and wild and can do anything, and I think Bad Dummy kind of has a style that he likes to stick to. And I can't think of too many reasons to give Bad Dummy the edge other than perhaps playing more ADV lately, which can matter if Dice has not been practicing. I don't know. But I'm going to pick Dice. And that's pretty much our stream, guys. What's your favorite pairing of round one? And then let's get out of here.
I don't, there's no nice listing of the pairings, but obviously the one that's still in my brain is Star and Fakes. I think that one is the best by a large margin.
I'm probably going Fru Dazi M Dragon. I'm excited to see what a hyperactive Brazilian child can do to someone that's been dominating for years. I think it'd be good. And
I think those are the two best ones. You guys kind of stole my thunder. A third one? Banna Blues could be fun. Johnny Gary could be fun. Oh yeah, Jester McMagan. There's a good third one.
That's a good one, yeah.
Alrighty, lots to look forward to. Appreciate you guys watching. Predictions are going to be up momentarily. Please consider donating if you have the means. Appreciate you, Jabba and Zach, joining me. CI7 officially on. See you guys in the next video.